Hello Year 4, I hope you are well. Now today in maths we are going to be looking at time with a particular focus on hours, minutes and seconds. So each of these are measurements of time, and I want you to have a quick look at the different activities on this slide here, and I want you to tell me how you would measure each activity in terms of the length it takes to complete. Now, hopefully you understand that a school day is timed in hours. Walking or driving to school should be measured in minutes, and running 100 meters, once again, should be measured and counted in seconds. Now, from that, hopefully you can define and tell me which of those activities is longest, and therefore can tell me which measurement of time is the longest. And hopefully you see that measuring in hours is a much greater or larger measurement of time. But today we're going to be really focusing on converting these different units of time. So we have hours, minutes and seconds. So let's test your memory from year 3. I want you to tell me how many minutes are in an hour and how many seconds are in a minute. Did you get it? Because hopefully you'll see that 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes and 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds. And hopefully you would have spotted the pattern in there that 60 is kind of a key number. Once one measurement of time gets to 60, it becomes one of the next step up. So 60 seconds becomes 1 minute, 60 minutes becomes 1 hour. So from that, can you tell me how many seconds there are in 3 minutes? So to figure out how many seconds there are in 3 minutes, a really useful thing to do is to bring it back to that really basic measurement of time. And hopefully by now we all understand that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. Now you're probably thinking, Mr. Ball, I need to know how many seconds there are in 3 minutes. Well, that is where this comes in handy, because we know that 3 minutes is 3 times bigger than 1 minute. So we can times our 1 minute by 3. We also know that 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Therefore, we need to times 60 seconds by 3 because both measurements are becoming 3 times bigger. So we're left with a calculation of 3 times 60. Now, hopefully, you should all be able to figure that out. But if you're not sure, a really good way is to do 3 times 6, because 6 is 10 times smaller than 60. And once you've got the answer to 3 times 6, multiply that by 10. So hopefully all of you now know that 3 minutes is equivalent to 180 seconds. And this is a really, really good sort of ploy to help you understand converting different measurements of time. So if you know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes and 1 minute equals 60 seconds, 2 hours is double what 1 hour is. So hopefully you can use that to figure out how many minutes there are in 2 hours, and the same from seconds to minutes. So I've left these tables on the slide for you. I want you to copy them out into your books and see if you can convert all the different measurements of time. So can you tell me how many minutes there are in 2 hours, how many seconds there are in 5 minutes, and so on. Give this a go before we got one final challenge today. So now that you've converted your minutes into hours and your seconds into minutes, let's have a go at the table in front of us. And to start off with, we're being asked to convert 1 hour 15 minutes into minutes. Now to do this, we can come back to our table and our knowledge of how many minutes there are in 1 hour. We should all now know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we could easily convert that 1 hour into 60 minutes. Or you can represent it in a bar model like I've shown below, because the 1 hour becomes 60, we've still got our 15 minutes remaining. Add those two numbers together, 60 plus 15, and you'll know that the total is 75, showcasing that 1 hour 15 minutes is the same as 75 minutes. Our next question is slightly different because it asks us to convert from minutes to hours. But again, the knowledge that we have from doing our converting in our tables slightly earlier should help us on this. So to begin with, let's figure out how many minutes there are in an hour again. We know it's 60. So there's a high chance that we could be looking at a 1 hour number being involved in our 95 minutes. Let's just double check to see what the value of 2 hours is in minutes, and we see that it's 120 minutes. So we can't use that number because we can't take away 120 from 95. But we can take away 60 from 95. And you're probably going, why am I taking away 60 from 95? Well, if you look at the bar chart on this slide, you'll see why I've done that. Because 60 represents the number of minutes there are in 1 hour. So by taking away 60 from 95, the remaining number, 35, represents our minutes to go alongside our number of hours. And you can see that 95 minutes is the same as 1 hour, 35 minutes. So using bar models and your pre-existing knowledge of how many minutes there are in hours and seconds there are in minutes will help you out with questions like this. So give the remaining ones a go and see how you do. How did you find those questions? Because the answers are coming up for you now. So, as you can see, 2 hours and 40 minutes in minutes is 160 minutes. That's because 2 hours is the equivalent of 120 minutes, and when I add 40 minutes onto 120, my total is 160 minutes. Next up, we have 185 minutes. That is the same value as 3 hours and 5 minutes, because when we subtract 180 minutes, or 180, from 185, which is the value of 3 hours, we are left with just 5 minutes remaining. So it becomes 3 hours and 5 minutes. Our final one, converting 4 hours and 10 minutes into minutes, shows the answer of 250. That's because 4 times 60 equals 240, because we have 4 hours and we times that by 60, the value of how many minutes there are in an hour, to equal 240, and then when we add 10 minutes onto our 240 minutes, it shows the answer as being 250 minutes. So when doing your work today, make sure that you draw back to those comparison tables that we went through earlier on, and if you're finding the questions difficult, then bar models are a really good way to help you visualize the process of converting between the different measurements of time. Best of luck today, Year 4.